Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing good, and I'm doing good myself, thank you. But today I wanted to talk to everybody about the three mistakes that I've made with my durian farm. And these are mistakes that I don't want anybody else to make, so that's why I'm making this video, letting you guys know what I did wrong that I now regret I did. So, we're not perfect in life, and we try our best and we try to prepare, but there's always some things that slip through the crack, and these are a few things that slipped through the crack with me. Now they're not detrimental, but the situation could be a whole lot better if I didn't have these issues. So let's go ahead and get started. So number one, the variety of durian trees that I had put in my farm. I think I put in some varieties that just don't grow too well for my area. And I should have listened more to the locals on what grows best, but I was kind of hard headed on that. So I ended up growing 5 varieties in my farm. Actually, 7. I got a couple other, but just a few trees. And what I found is that some varieties just don't grow good in my area. So it's just literally a waste of time. They're growing slow and they're susceptible to disease. And so I've got a big issue with that. Now, the variety that grows best in my area that I was recommended to do from the beginning was Mong Tong. Okay, and that's, primarily all through Thailand has Mong Tong. And there's a reason for that because it grows the best. But I put the 5 varieties I put in my farm was Mong Tong, Gadum Tong, Gong Yao, Musang King, and Shawnee. Now, I'll go ahead and explain the problems with each one. Mong Tong, there's no problem. Grows well. It's well fitted. Trees are growing really good. Not a problem at all. And then the next variety is Gadum Tong. Gadum Tong actually grows quite well too. So I'm not too concerned about Gadum Tong. It is growing good. It's, not susceptible to diseases. It's a really strong tree, growing well. It does grow a little bit slow compared to Mong Tong, but it's still a good tree. Now, let's go ahead and move on to Gung Yao. What a disaster Gung Yao is, and I should have listened to everybody. It just doesn't grow well. Half my trees have died, and they're growing slow. The ones that are surviving, man, they look okay, but I've noticed that Gung Yao is susceptible to root disease, root rot, and it's just not growing good, guys. So, yeah, Gung Yao, it's just not going good. So, I'm replacing it with Mong Tong as they die. So, really bad mistake on my hand there. And then number 2, I planted Musang King. Musang King is a very expensive variety, and the Chinese do like it now, but it doesn't grow well. At first, it grew good. It got really big, but this summer, throughout the heat wave that we had, it loves water, and a lot of them have died off, and or dying. And I put a lot of water on them. I put everything they need on them, but they're just not growing good, not good enough. So again, another waste of time, something I shouldn't have put in. Not as bad as the Gung Yao though, but still bad. Still have some issues. So I wish I wouldn't have put them in. I wish I would have had just put the Mong Tong. Okay, number 4 is Shawnee. Shawnee, grows okay, a little bit slow, and that is a Thailand variety. But it's, how do I say it? It's just kind of like in between. It's kind of okay, and it's kind of not. So it's kind of growing slow. Some of the trees have died, but they don't sell for as much. Okay, so if you're going to be reselling this, not as many people want to buy it. So that's a big issue with Shawnee is, the market for Shawnee is just not there. I put quite a few into. I don't know, I got about 80 of them in there. And so I wish I would have had just put Mong Tong. So that's another variety that it's just not growing good, guys. Okay. So those are the issues with the variety. That's the first issue I've got in my farm. I put in trees that I should not have. Right. Again, the Mong Tong is good. I should have just went all Mong Tong. I should have just stayed with that. So, but I didn't. Okay, guys. Number two, issue number two with my farm is I use tobacco to make the mounds on the first part of my farm. The second part of my farm, as you guys see in my videos, I used a tractor, and the mounds turned out much better. Now, the issue with tobacco, first of all, it costs a lot more than a tractor to do. Second of all, the way that the mounds are, it's extremely difficult to cut the weeds. And so when I hire the guys to cut the weeds, it's much more difficult. It costs me more money for maintenance because they got to climb up on the mounds. On the lower area, I can hit it with my tractor, but I still have to every 2-3 weeks during the winter months or the rainy months, I got to get guys in to cut the grass. So if you're going to do mounds, now I did the long mounds, okay, do it with the tractor and have it roll to the side, because the new mounds I've got, I can literally cut the grass right up next to the tree with my tractor. I can get real close to it, and then it's just very minimal for the guys cutting the grass with the weed eaters to get in there, so it's going to cost me a whole lot less. So guys, when making your mounds, I suggest using the tractor, and make it nice and rolling hills. Okay, so that's my second mistake I made. The third mistake, probably the biggest mistake, is primarily the last couple years I've been focusing really just on growth of the tree, and I've been spraying a lot of minerals on the leaves. I do that all the time. Every couple of weeks I do that. And I use a lot of ground fertilizer. And I haven't had any issues. I mean, my trees are growing really well, really big. And even the slow growing trees are growing quite well on my farm, as you guys can see in the videos. But what I did not focus on, and I regret now, is disease, root disease, okay, or chera. That's another one where it comes up through the ground and makes big sores on the tree. Now, I have not been spraying anything for that. I did no preventive maintenance. And during this summer months, it was just, it was dry, right? And it was hot during this dry season. And it was just a breeding ground for all these diseases. And so during the first rain that we've received, this disease just really took hold. And I had about 25 trees come up with root rot or root disease. And they died from the top down. I mean, I literally came on out there, and half of them were just, half the tree had just turned brown. The leaves just turned brown from the top down, just ran down. And I couldn't save them. I mean, once this sets in, man, your tree's gone. And I'm taking out trees that are 2.5, 3 meters tall. Okay, so it's really a big setback. And so now, my primary focus, I see what I did wrong. I did not preemptively treat the trees for this stuff. And so now I'm treating my whole farm. I'm into the third week of treating my farm with this. And I'm putting aluminum, I can't think of the name, but I'll put it in the comments section there. But I'm spraying the ground, and it's actually helping the trees now. I can see the difference. But it was spreading, and some of the trees were far too gone, and some of them are just starting, but I've got it under control now. So that's a huge mistake, guys. If you're just doing fertilizer and not doing preventative root rot maintenance to your trees with spraying, you may run into an issue like I had. So that's the third mistake. It's a big mistake, and I could have lost my whole farm if I wasn't around and not paying attention to it and gone for a while. I could have really lost the farm, and it would have been devastating. Not cheap to put in a durian farm, and it takes a lot of money to maintain the durian farm also. So, but it's very profitable, and I'm looking forward to making some money from it, being that I spent a whole lot of money to get where I'm at today. But guys, yeah, I hope you can learn from what I'm talking about here, for all the mistakes I've made, and just if you're making mounds, make it with a tractor. If you're thinking about the varieties of durian to put in, just go with Mong Tong. It's going to sell, and it's going to grow the best. You're going to have the least headaches with it. And number 3, guys, don't just think about fertilizing and watering your trees. You got to think about fungus and root infestation. and diseases that the trees will get, and you gotta spray for it. You gotta spray the ground. I'm having to treat the ground around the tree. I'm literally spraying the ground. I'm not even spraying the tree. I'm having to spray the ground. And so this the issue I've got, and I hope you guys can learn from this so you don't run into this issue. So, anyways, guys, I'm taking a little bit of time off. Me and the wife and the kid, my son, we're out having a good time. We're at this Nordic village here, and quite nice and really quiet. And I could use a break. I'm a little bit tired working on that farm, guys. I'm sure you know. Anyways, hey, if this was helpful, hit that like button. It's good to see everybody again, and we'll see you soon. Take care.